guys said in the room something along the lines that this is a fragile group right now. How do you fix that?
Well, you just got to keep digging in. You know, it's this game isn't for the faint of heart. You know, it's a hard game, and when you go through circumstances like this, my experience has been that you have to try to simplify the game. I think that's always part of the solution, is simplifying the game out there, not looking for next play, shooting the puck more, going to the net, trying to create off the shot a little bit more, defending hard, and staying in the moment. You know, we can't get overwhelmed by the circumstance. And, you know, as I said to you guys on so many occasions here, that you know, this is a good group of guys, and they care a lot about what's going on. And when you don't have success, nobody feels it more than us. And so I understand the circumstance that we're in, but you know, the answers are inside our locker room, and that's where we have to look for them.
Mike, was the 2-1 goal, the one like just a minute into the second period, is that the one that really turned things around?
Well, I think starts of periods are always, you know, critical moments in a game. That's how you control momentum. You know, it gives them juice right away to start the second period, you know. And it's really, when you look at the way it evolved, it was a non-event circumstance, and it ends up with a 2-on-1 in the back of our net. You know, we've got to do a better job in managing the puck and executing tape-to-tape passes and making sure we get a puck deep when we're late in the shift. It wasn't like we were under a whole lot of pressure there. We just didn't execute, and so we've got to be better there. But you know, starts at beginning of periods, end of periods, after a goal is scored, things of, you know, those types of moments. They're big moments in the game as far as controlling momentum, and it just gives them juice right away.
Felt like the forecheck early was pretty good, and maybe you didn't have as much success getting on the forecheck as the game went on in the second and third. Why was it so hard to establish that in the last 4 minutes?
Well, I just think at the end of the day, a lot of it starts with a mindset. You know, I think, you know, we scored early, and that gave our bench a lot of juice, and so, you know, we feed off that energy, you know, and I think that's the value of momentum. When you have it, you can ride it, you know, and your group gets a jolt of energy, and that gives us the ability to play on our toes and play the game. I thought as the game went on, we started to take the puck back a little bit. You know, we played a slower game. We didn't play as much straight ahead, as much north-south. And you know, I just think when we take the puck back as often, you're giving your opponents more of an opportunity to play on top of you. You know, you're one bobbled pass away from them creating a turnover, and now you're in vulnerable spots. And not only that, I think when you take the puck back like that, you don't play the game with as much pace and tempo that I think gives teams a competitive advantage. And so, you know, we talked to them a little bit after the second period about just playing more straight ahead, playing fast, you know, and trying to play more of a north-south simplified game. And I think when we do that, I think we're a better version of ourselves.
Mike, Mika said something along the lines of we're searching for an answer. I know you just said the answers were in the room, but you know, obviously you are missing out of the box in the Sturgeon. Is it sometimes human nature to let self-doubt creep in, you know, without two of your most important players?
Well, I think when you look at the circumstance, you know, we haven't won a lot lately, and when you have key players out that help you in that regard, I just think that's what you're fighting against. You know, these guys are human beings, and they have emotions and feelings and things like that you have to try to manage. And so, you know, we're not going to look for excuses. Regardless, every team has to deal with injuries. We're no different. I mean, obviously, we're a better team when those guys are in our lineup, but we've got to find a way to, you know, to win hockey games in the absence of those guys. So there's a lot of guys that are getting opportunities to play here, and you know, they're getting opportunities to make a difference, try to help us. just playing higher role, more prominent roles in the lineup, and getting more playing time, playing up the lineup, things of that nature. And so, like I said, nobody feels it more than the players themselves and the coaches and everybody involved. It's it's not from a lack of care or lack of commitment or lack of try. I can promise you that.
Earlier
All right.
today, you mentioned
Last one.
Brennan Offman coming up and hoping to just bring some juice as well. What did you notice about his game tonight?
Yeah, I thought Otter had a good game for us. I thought he helped us with the puck pursuit game. He got in the forecheck a few times. I thought he had a couple of good chances early in the game. I think he might have hit the crossbar on one of them. So, that's the game, I think, when he brings that and he helps us with the puck pursuit and can get in the forecheck, uses, bring that type of energy and physicality is an element of his game that I think he can help us also. I think that's when he's at his best, and that's the type of game that, that we're trying to define for him to try to help us. And so, I know in the discussions that I've had with Drew and Ryan Martin and Grant Patolny down in Hartford, his last 5 or 6 games has been his very best down there in Hartford. He's played really well, and that's why he's here. And so I thought, this was a step in the right direction for him.